why I think, I should let aspiring, data professionals understand that beyond, their technical knowledge or technical skills, there are other things as well they should also know. So that's the background story reading.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Okay, so now let's bring this home and
Yeah.
ask this question. So for you, what brought you into this space? Can you give us a background story, maybe 1 minute or so? What brought you into the
Yeah.
space?
Yeah.
Because I know that the data space
Yeah.
is a traditional space that has existed before now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Actually, yeah.
but now with technology infused into
Mhm.
it, I mean,
Yeah.
how did you
Yeah.
get into the space?
Yeah. So for me, I started my career properly as a project support, right? There was a PMO team that went into a telecommunications project to facilitate, the completion of this project. I was just a project support, right, supporting the PMO lead, right. However, on getting onto the project, there were a lot of data coming in to the project team, right, which we needed to like summarize and analyze to the management. So that was why I picked up the skill. We didn't have anyone doing it. And for me, I like visuals. I like to see colors. I like to see
Mm,
shapes and everything. So I started learning these things on my own. It was on Excel at the time. I think it
mm,
was 2015, 16. It was Excel at the time. And then, I started managing data within the project, right? And I became better at it because I kept doing it every time. Then I left Excel and started, using Power BI. So I was very interested in data. I analyzed data. I was doing presentation because I understood the data more, so I could present it, right? And the project ended. There was nothing for me to visualize again. And in the same company, another role was open to be
mm.
a database administrator. I'd never really done, anything database, but because of my interest in analyzing this data, I learned SQL at the time,
Mm,
right? So because of this small SQL skill, I was able to pass the interview and I got the role. So having, the data analysis background, having a project background, going into, database
mm.
administration, everything all it was all about the data really, managing data, it was all about the data and
Okay,
that worked for me. Yeah.
okay. So now I want to now be a bit technical with this question of just
Yeah.
juxtaposing the things you said. Now, how does collaboration in data teams differ from other industries? Okay, and why is it so critical in tech? Why is collaboration so critical in the tech space? If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do. It's extremely critical in the tech space, regardless of whether tech or not. If you're working
Mm,
in these different industries, you have to collaborate with other people. You can't do it all alone by yourself, right?
mm,
There are different ways to collaborate, right? But infusing or introducing tools, collaboration tools, to aid these processes, it's what makes it even better and easier, right?
mm,
In the data space, we can use the same tool as in any other engineering space, right? But it's important for aspiring professionals that are just learning these technical skills to also understand, the non-technical parts why they try to, go into these companies.
mm. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So that's this is fantastic, and I don't want to derail you. So now, from
Yeah.
from this topic, now, can you give us fundamental tools that like an aspiring data
Yeah.
analyst would need to
Yeah.
get into the
Yeah, so over the course of my experience, in terms of collaboration, I'm going to talk about one tool in particular, which is SharePoint. SharePoint is actually just more than a collaboration tool. It's a document management tool. There's a lot of things you can do on SharePoint, but I'm streamlining this to collaboration alone, right? And I will explain why SharePoint is important. Or I'll give an example. I'll try to create an example on the spot. Um, the example, let's assume we have three employees, right? Employee A, B, C, trying to work on a project, trying to work on a file. Employee A works on the file, sends it to B and C, right? They both saw it, right? Then for some reason, employee B couldn't sleep and worked on the same file. in the middle of the night, sends it to A and C the next morning, didn't see what B had sent, then started working on the one employee A sent, right?
Mm.
Which means that C is now working on an older version of what he should be working on. So things like this can cause confusion. But what SharePoint does is to bring everything online, in a centralized environment, such that all of them can work on this document at the same time, right? So when I say documents, it could be any other thing. It could be codes, Python codes that everybody's working on at the same
Yeah.
time. It could be a Power Dashboard where people are working on different pages of the dashboard. So SharePoint, as a tool for collaboration is something every aspiring, data professional should know about. They should learn the basics, right? You don't have to go in depth into it. When you get into your company, you can learn more about it, but you should all know the basics.
SharePoint. Okay. So now SharePoint, that SharePoint, do you have to have an account with Microsoft? Do you have to do? I mean, like I know Google is general. Everyone can
Yeah.
access Google.
Yeah. With SharePoint, yeah, you most likely need to have an account, right? You most likely need
Okay.
to have an account. It's usually uh, what do I call it? Companies in general who have this. However, these things, there are people who have demonstrated how to use it online on YouTube, for instance. You can always go there and see how to use it. It's not something you really have to practice. Once you understand it, know how it works. I mean, we all operate Microsoft Word or Microsoft Office packages. It's the same operational,
Yeah.
system, right? It's all Microsoft. So if you can use all of these, then you'll be able to use SharePoint. But the understanding of it, how it works, what you can
Mm.
achieve with it, that's very, very key. So going online, going on YouTube to see how it works, how different people are using it, that's going to really help.
Awesome. Okay. So
Yeah.
you mentioned some other tools while were talking. You
Yeah.
talked about Python, SQL. I
Yeah.
mean, these are very big terms even for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
What can you just give us some stuff into that as well?
Yeah, that part I think it's kind of settled. So I'm trying not to talk about the technical parts, right? Because I understand everyone knows that. But ideally, if you're trying to become, a data analyst, for instance, one of the base, I think there are usually three you should know. Excel is number one for me, right? For you to become a data analyst, you have to know Excel, right? Your data will not come, as maybe in a notepad. It usually comes in Excel format, CSV as maybe. So doing, manual transformations, manual cleaning on Excel is very, very key. So you need to know Excel. The second,
Sorry to hold your thought, Demola. Is it
yeah.
different from the Excel I do, like putting sheet one, sheet two, calculating at the end? I mean, what are you talking about? I mean, am I not?
Yeah, but it's Excel, but streamlined to data
Okay.
management. Right? You need to be able to manipulate it, right? It's not just about, yeah, you need to understand how formula works, how all of
Mm,
this function works. You need to understand the VLOOKUP, you need to understand the XLOOKUP, how to use the if function or the switch function. You need to understand all of these things to help you aid, maybe your data cleaning or data transformation. So understanding Excel that is streamlined towards data analysis is exactly what I mean. Excel is very
mm,
wide. People in finance, they use it for different things. People in engineering, they use it for different things. Excel is very wide, but there's a streamlined version for data analysts, which I think everyone should know first before going into anything else as a data
mm,
analyst.
mm,
Excel can also be classified as a visualization tool because you can visualize, whatever data you have on Excel, right? But there's a limit to what Excel can do. In a company where you have, almost a billion rows of data, of course, you wouldn't want to use Excel for that because your Excel will definitely crash. So cases like that are where we bring in SQL or Python, as the case may be, for bigger data, right? Or you can use BigQuery for that. So excuse me. So I mean, Excel is the foundation. Then I would say SQL, right?
SQL.
You need to understand SQL. Yeah, you need to understand
What's the full
SQL.
meaning of SQL? What does it
Just
stand for?
SQL. Yeah, SQL query language. Yeah.
Okay.
So you
All
need to
right.
understand that as well. Yeah, and then finally, any visualization tool of your choice. I think the most popular tool we have is Power BI and Tableau. Power BI is more. I think it's actually more common because it's on the Microsoft platform. So those with those three skills, I believe you can become a perfect data analyst.
So can all these things be learned in how many space? Like a serious person that want to do this, how long
Yeah.
does this?
You can learn the basics in a month or two. You can learn the
Mm,
basics in a month or two. But the more you practice, the more you become better at it, right? And people also have boot camps where you do it for like 8 to 10 hours a day. You try to learn all these different things 8 to 10 hours a day for like 2 weeks, and that's the whole
mm.
concept of a boot camp. Then you can go ahead after that to learn on your own, to practice on your own, look for challenges on LinkedIn, online, participate, and then you become better at it.
Mm. Okay, fantastic. I would pause. I would want us to pause at this point. I
Yeah,
want to bring in Emmanuel, the MD CEO of Elixonn
yeah,
Limited.
very. Okay.
Is also somebody that's very passionate about young people and also passionate
Mm-hmm.
about the IT space. I'm sure he's right there to you know chat with you, tell us one or two things while we
Mm-hmm.
continue and wrap up the next part of this
All right, that's
program.
fine.
Okay, Emmanuel, yeah, you're welcome. Can you hear me?
Hello. Hi, Michael. Thank you
Yeah.
for having me up, and a big thank you to Damola, our amiable guest. To be
All right.
honest, I don't think I've learned so much about data management, and as much as I've been listening on. I don't have a question yet, but I've
Yeah,
been listening and I've been taking notes and I'm learning. So
uh,
please fire on, bro. Fire on.
I appreciate it.
I
Thank
hope
you.
I hope before the end of the meeting or this session that I can have one or two questions. But
Mhm.
at the moment, I don't have any. But to say thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for having
yeah,
me.
yeah.
I
Michael is
think you're
muted.
muted. Yeah.
Yeah, muted. Okay, let's get into the other aspect of the program
Yeah.
right now. We
Okay.
just have about 11 minutes to go on the program right
Yeah.
now. So,
Yeah.
and I want to really run as fast as we can. So now
That's fine.
we talked about version control. Why
Yeah.
is this essential? Can you give it a little light? Is it something different? Is it a term? Is it something different from what we've been talking about? What is version control? Can you
So
marry it with proper project management? I know you've talked about project management in terms of
yeah.
dealing with other people. I mean, just
Yeah.
give us insight into that.
Yeah. So I'll explain to you what version control is in simple terms, for everyone to understand depending on background, right? For instance, you built a dashboard, right? And then your manager comes to say, "Oh, I don't like, this page. I don't like the sales. Can you take it off?" And then what you do is you just delete the page, right? And it comes back later after a week to say, "Oh, actually, the management actually likes that page, you know.
Mm,
So I need to see the page again." So what do you do at that point? It means you have to start creating that page from scratch, right? Which is totally wrong. So the simple term of version control is at the point when the manager came to say, "I need that page deleted," you can save that copy, of your dashboard. Then on the second copy, you can have it deleted, which is fine. So when it comes back, or anything can happen, when it comes back to say, "Oh, I need that page back," you just bring out the previous version. So that's version control in simple terms, right? But we have
mm,
a tool for this, right? Which is the GitHub. The Git is very popular. It's also a collaboration tool, but it's perfect for version control. You can use it to track changes that someone has made and go back to the previous version, or I mean, or return to the previous version. So that's the whole concept of version control, because you can't be working in an organization and you keep overwriting the same thing you're doing. What happens when something goes wrong and you need to go back to the previous version? Right? It happens a lot too. I've had calls like, oh, I'm at work. This is what happened. How do I go back to this previous version? And this is because there is no, version control system in place in the organization or personally. Even our personal lives. I mean, for me, at the time when I was job hunting, I kept updating my CV without deleting the previous ones because I,
Mm.
I, I always like to see what have changed over the
Yeah.
years. What is so that's the version control in simple terms. Not losing,
Mm.
your old files,
The old. Yeah.
keeping them. You can revert
Yeah.
back to them.
Building on the old to get the new. Yeah. And
Exactly.
still, because it may be relevant to you one or two,
Exactly.
in another way.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
I get that.
So
Now it makes sense.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
really, I mean, I'm really feeling like a tech bro at this moment because
I
all
think you
this
are.
your time, yeah. All these terms are pretty, easy to learn, but you guys just quote it with jargons, and it's very difficult
I
to
mean, yeah,
when
it's
you see.
not. You can always explain in
Uh,
simple things.
Okay, let me talk to our audience now. Yeah, I can see we have a massive audience right there on our Facebook, on
Oh,
our
great.
YouTube channel.
All right.
Now this is the time for you to ask questions. From Damola. He's here to answer your questions. Please just drop in your questions. We're going to see it here. Drop it in. I'm going to see it on the dashboard here. Then I'll put it up on the screen right here in the studio. It's very important we ask questions and let's know where we're going to. Now, it is very good to say that we as a company in Elixonn Limited, we are a software company as well, and then we build, in fact, we currently have an application that we just built for a seamless integration of activities within the healthcare sector, which
Great.
somehow may be similar to what you do as well. So when I was looking at your bio, I'm like, oh yeah, maybe after this conversation we can, have a talk and see how we can
Yeah,
also come together and collaborate, at
absolutely.
what we do. We have a built app already which is running, and my
Okay.
colleague is going to come on board to talk about it. Okay, so and then keep the questions coming, please. We'll keep asking them. So I think someone Alima could ask this question that are there platforms where one can learn data analytics and get certified?
Yeah,
Damola, I think
yeah,
you've talked about that. But
yeah.
you can repeat that.
There are a lot of them. There are a whole lot of them. And to be fair, I would say it's not about getting certified, right? It's
Mm,
about the
mm,
knowledge. It's about you knowing it and knowing it for sure, right? You don't need the certification for it. Most companies, I mean, I've done several interviews. They don't ask about certificates really. If you're a data
mm,
analyst, they just give you a test, a take-home test or on the spot test that you do to show them that
mm.
you can really do it, right? Getting certified is a plus, no doubt, but you just really, really need to know it. And for knowing it, there are a lot of platforms. I've used plural sites before. I've used Data Camp. Data Camp is my favorite actually. I've used Data Camp before. Of course, there's Coursera, there's Udemy. We have all of these things. And my second favorite actually is YouTube. YouTube is where you find everything free of charge. So if you can,
Mm.
sleep on YouTube to learn these things, then absolutely. I mean, you can become a guru in 3 to 6 months.
Awesome,
If you're dedicated.
awesome,
Yes.
awesome, awesome. And then from back end also, we run a kind of a very fluid academy as well within the organization where we can help you out to get these things done. We can make it very easy for you, and our marketing team are going to also get across to you. So we're going to send out all the details how you can
Yeah.
contact us to help you get on this journey in transition.
Yeah.
There are a lot of questions. Yeah, so the next question, can we just quickly answer this? Tunji says, what is the most efficient way? Can you answer this in 20 seconds to collect data without overwhelming resources for participants?
To be fair, it depends on the industry you're working in, right? But the most efficient way or some of the ways I've collected data will be through API, right? through manual submission from external clients or through data pipelines. Data pipeline is my favorite. So in terms of collecting data, maybe that's when you're working on some sort of personal project, right? But in the organizations I've worked in, we already have data coming in based on the services of the company, right?
mm,
So collecting data, this data can be from different sources, right? It could be from an external client, it could be from your database within the company, or it could be from, maybe data from the field, right? But
mm.
planning is one way to get your data without overwhelming, yourself, right? Or whatever machine you're working on. You have to really plan how you want to collect the data. You know. So
Awesome,
yeah.
awesome. Okay, so we like I said, this answers are not exhaustive at the moment here. So
Mhm.
we will also revisit this. So Okushaga actually says, "What's your take on getting data analyst experience and exposure before actually getting on the job? Do you encourage paying for data camps, boot camps, like you know?"
Absolutely, absolutely. Education, in my opinion, is expensive, right? If you want to earn the big money, you have to spend money.
Mm,
I paid for data camp. I paid when I started my SQL journey at the time. I paid for data camp, right? I started on the free version, and it got really interesting. I wanted more, so I paid. I paid for a whole year. I learned this thing. I learned data science. I learned everything I could, and then he helped me with my job. And
mm,
the take on getting data analysis experience and exposure before actually getting a job. It's everywhere. If you go on LinkedIn, there are people throwing out data challenges, data analyst challenges to say, oh, we have this data and there's a challenge for everyone to work on it. The best visualization wins, or the best is wins, 100K or something. That's everywhere. We see it everywhere. So if you've learned these courses to a certain stage, then it's time for you to jump on these challenges, to
mm.
really show what you're made of, to really show that you learned something. And I mean, if you become top of the challenge, then you're ready for the job market. I mean, so
Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah,
perfect. Yeah.
yeah. Spend money to earn money. That's quite
Yeah.
inside. Yeah. Okay, so nothing really comes easy. I think the last question um, from Oreoluwa Joseph. He said, "Where can data analysts work?" I mean,
Everywhere.
you can work
Absolutely.
anywhere.
Anywhere. Any
I think
industry.
I can answer that question. You can work
Anywhere.
anywhere. Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but you see, the truth is that it's quite a it's a whole it's an avalanche of opportunities for you
Yep.
when you get this thing done. So,
Yeah.
I may not be able to take any other question. Okay, Tunji says, okay, let me see if we can quickly chip this in less than 30 seconds. There's no more time. Are there systems in place to prevent unauthorized access while ensuring data availability for legitimate use? Uh, Damola, do you think you can quickly answer this
Yeah,
question
yeah,
in 30
yeah, yeah.
seconds?
So yeah, there are systems in place. So this system, I mean, there's another whole department for it, which is the cybersecurity department, right? This is what they do. This is what they do is to prevent, unauthorized access, right? We don't, as data analysts, it's not up to us, to handle the security of our systems. So the network engineers, the security engineers, this is exactly what they do. When I mentioned something about working within a team, this is the part where we collaborate with the cybersecurity guys, right? They handle the security
Mm,
of the system while we just handle the analysis and the likes in terms of data and everything. There's also, a data protection team that handles, protecting the data and then
mm.
handles any parts such that we don't default, GDPR. So definitely, yes, there are systems in place, and collaboration helps to achieve this.
Awesome, awesome. So collaborations can help us to achieve this. Okay, so there's someone asking a question about the, uh, 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 the the LinkedIn page of our guest. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we can definitely get across to you, but we want you to
Okay.
um, fill out a feedback form for that. So because we don't just want to get our our guest up there in the public without properly understanding exactly. So we know you're coming from us, and then we can just make those references work because we're also trying to build a community as well.
Yeah.
So the media team are going to drop a link right now on the screen for you to see so that you can go ahead and register and of course just fill the form. It's a very simple form. If you can copy that link on the screen, I'm sure the media team will get that done. Uh, but if not, just you can drop your email address. Or if you had filled the form to enter to watch this podcast, you must have filled in your email address. But if not, we're going to get across to how that can be done. So quickly, I want to bring to the stage my colleague Jacinta to quickly talk about what we have on ground now. Jacinta, are you ready for me from the backstage? I'm going to bring you up stage now just to talk about us, talk about our business, talk about what we do, and then we'll be able to move in from there. Jacinta, please give me a signal when you're ready because we've actually overshot our time now. Okay, all right. Jacinta, are you here?
Yes, I'm
Oh,
here. Good evening, Mr. Damola. Good evening, Mr.
Hi.
Michael.
I mean,
so
How are we
by the way,
doing?
Jacinta
It's nice to
is
be
our
here.
digital marketing expert, with the company. So she's quite a very handsome person at this. So Jacinta, over to you, please.
Yeah, so I just want to give like a brief overview of what we do here at Elixir Limited. It's so nice to have you here, Mr. Damola. I really learned a lot from your session, and I hope every other person to learn. So, Elixir Limited is a business that supports startups and other businesses to achieve operational efficiency in their businesses. And we have different programs such as this one, such as this Elixir Half Hour. We have different programs that we organize where we are able to assist startups, probably in the healthcare industry, to achieve and streamline their operations and deliver results for them. So the kinds of services we provide are in the areas of software development, staffing, business startup support, and also digital marketing services. So we empower businesses to scale efficiently and achieve success in their business in whatever goals you want to achieve, be it online or offline, especially in the healthcare industry and other areas too. We are right there to help you optimize your operation and unlock your opportunities for growth. So that's what we do here. And I hope to, for everyone who is listening to me, either on YouTube or if you're in the meeting room here, really hope that you reach out to us, follow us on all our social platforms at Elixon Limited, and subscribe to our newsletters. We are really hoping to hearing from you guys. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Jacinta, for that quick and short brief. All right. So yeah, our social media platforms are there online. You can follow us on there on YouTube. We're going to drop the media team. We're going to drop the link on our YouTube page. You can follow us or the description on the YouTube link on the YouTube video of this podcast is there live. So get to us, reach out to us. Let's support you. Let's make it easier for you to transit into the tech space if you want to. Damola, now we need to go. But can you just
yeah.
talk to us in 1-2 minutes to someone who wants to get themselves up and running with this? Just give them a piece of advice while we close the meeting today.
Yeah, so I would say dedication and commitment, right? If you have those
Mm,
two, you have what you really want to do. If you're going into the data space, once you're dedicated and committed, I believe you can achieve anything, right? Less than 2 3 months. If you're trying to switch careers, dedicate 3 months to it. Be committed to studying these new things, understanding the programming languages, whatever you need to learn. Just keep doing it. If you're doing 1 hour or 2 hours of it every day, then you can become a guru in no time. So
mm.
dedication and commitment.
Dedication and commitment. Thank you so much, dedication and commitment. And I want to say that it's dedication and commitment that has brought us this far as well to be able to get this package and be on your screen to tell you this. We offer this podcast free of charge. We don't charge anything because we want to give back to the people that are following us as well. So feel free to share this link. Feel free to ask us these questions. Feel free to contact us. We are always here for you. And for the guests today, Damola, I really, really appreciate your time. I appreciate the fact that you could get across, to be with us today. We are not taking this for granted. And trust me, we will knock on your door again. Okay? We will
Thank
knock
you.
on
I
your door
appreciate
again.
it. Thanks for having
Um,
me.
yeah, we want to hope that you would, open up the door for us again and let's have you, because this is a very interesting topic for us to keep engaging our people with. Now, thank you so much, everyone that has been of help and support to the success of this event today. I want to thank my team in your bone. I want to thank Jacinta. I want to thank Victor and every other person backstage that has been, doing one or two things to ensure that we run smoothly. I remain your host, your very host, Michael Oyetunji, hosting Elixonn Half Hour. Gonna catch you same time next month, or when if the date changes, you're going to get it on our social. So please just keep an eye on our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn profiles, and our YouTube page. You definitely get that information from us. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a blessed evening. Goodbye. All right.
Bye, everyone.